bosses. Good day to you, partner. I'm Guy, and I can already tell that I'll be your best friend in this forsaken kingdom.
Hey guys, Wheat Solo here, aka the Skeleton King. So I'm gonna crack a couple of eggs open and pop them right into your brain basket to make an omelet out of whatever's inside of it, which is probably not much for most of my viewers, because if you actually watch my content, I can't imagine. But, alright, so first thing, Bone Spear, does it still multi-hit? Now, a lot of people are convinced it does, but that's pretty slow, and I went frame by frame, and I see one hit. Now, the old days, it was 1, 3, and 5, right? Frame 1 it would hit, frame 3 it would hit, frame 5 it would hit. Now it's frame 1 and frame 6. So is it possible on some pixel with some angle, does it double hit? Maybe. But it would happen so little, I really don't think it matters. And that's what my tests have been showing, and that's what Senpai has said recently. So again, I'm not saying Bubbles is wrong, because he's kind of a math guy. So if he thinks it can still double hit, maybe it can, because I was kind of going off of his words when I was saying it could still double hit. But like when I was playing, even the larger mobs in my maps, I don't think it was double hitting. So I was like, maybe Siege Beast and bosses, but apparently it doesn't even double hit bosses very much. So, what else? Okay, Fire Golems is an 8-yard radius tick, okay? It's 12 tiles or whatever, and 12 tiles is 8 yards, and that's still really good. But if it was 12 yards, it would literally be the best skill in the game, and it is not, thank God, because they would nerf it. They would just probably delete the skill at that point. And so what's the last thing we're going to check? Okay, so Fire Golems is done. Bone Spear is done. Act 4 Merc. So on the Act 4 Merc, I went back to that build I made before. Again, I strongly suggest maxing out Blood Warp and getting a 0 CD Blood Warp. I think you don't really need Bone Wall. The curses are more than enough. I think it's actually really cool. You can get max Curse Mastery, max Bone Armor, get Blood Warp. And as you can see from his gear, that's very low gear, okay? Complete Naj set. There's even better sets you can give him than that, probably. Just basically you're looking for FCR and plus skills. And then, what? The Train Gloves, Train Belt for CBF, and I think he has Inferno Strides on, which are just pretty good boots. But you can easily get him to 125 FCR. Well, maybe not easily, but if you do get an Arachnid Mesh, you can use the same gear setup, just throw an Arachnid Mesh on the belt. And yes, those are a bit expensive early on, especially 20 FCRs, but I'm just saying, you can start him off very budget, and then slowly get that 125 FCR breakpoint. Or even just get a few FCR cores, luckily. But as you can see, you could play a build that can't die. Now, am I saying you're going to get Uliana's Spear? Maybe. I think it's not going to be worth anything still. So I was thinking when I wanted to test the Act 4 Merc, I'm like, I might as well just use the setup I had. And it's like, I advertised this build as being like impossible to die, and yet you could still farm Chaos Sanctuary basically day 1. And although I really don't think you're going to get Uliana's Spear day 1, or the whole Naja's set day 1, I think if you just provide any damage for your Act 4 Mercenary, you can farm Chaos Sanctuary day 1, and he's clearly the best budget mercenary. So real quickly, is there anything I suggest you do for him to make him feel better? And the biggest thing is I do really like curses, because his biggest problem is look at him right now. He's just running away like a little chicken, and he won't cast. But if he actually casts, things die. So you don't want to stomp at all. You never want to stomp with this guy, which is fine, because early on in ladder, again, you're not going to have quite as good at this gear. But with like Weaken and Decrep, you're not going to be afraid of dying either. It's just stomping could go wrong, right? But if you just go a little bit away from the enemies, put curses on them to keep them from engaging you or the mercenary, he will destroy anything. And as I did wanted to put a little caveat that you should probably help him out with some damage, whether it's a summon just revives or something like that. I really don't think you need to, because even though he does have some FCR and he does have some plus skills, this gear isn't incredible. And the last thing on the list is can he still solo Diablo? And the answer is yes. I don't heal him one time. Diablo focuses him the whole time. And again, he has that awful AI thing where he runs away if they're in melee range a little too often for my taste. The one thing to remember for this guy is he does have a chance to cast Amp, so I actually switched to Amp because most of my curses don't even work on Diablo anyways, and Life Tap obviously isn't going to benefit us in any way. But if you cast Amp, that'll keep him from casting Amp, and then he'll do more damage. And so anyways, you can see just how ridiculous my defensive abilities are, and that's really, really cool. So thank you, developers. I think next season's actually going to be really good, and I really plan on trying to play Fire Golems as much as possible early on. Skelly King out, guys. G fucking G.
Come and play with us. Come and play with us, Daddy.